currently, I'm a manager at a hospital in Ontario, Canada. We are desperately looking for MLTs. Somebody that has a diploma is no different from somebody that has a degree. The pay scale is about $32 to $34 to start. Canada is a land of unlimited opportunity. If you find yourself here, make sure you take advantage and go full speed. No excuses.
Hi guys, welcome to Daring in North America. This is your ultimate source for inspiration, for guidance, and for mentorship. I am so excited today to host one of the most amazing, successful, hardworking friend I've met in Canada. Like, I cannot wait. You can see my excitement, and I don't even want to waste a lot of time. We're going to discuss a lot of amazing and inspiration in this video today. I just want to give him the time and the opportunity to introduce himself, and then we'll start our interview. So, Mr. Kobena.
All right. Thank you, Umazi. I know we did an interview about a year and a half ago, and it was well received. So my name is Kobena Botin, and I'm originally from Ghana. So I came here in 1997. And I started my high school here. So after coming here in 1997, I did a 3 years college diploma at Humboldt College for chemical engineering. And then afterwards, I continued my education, went to university to do medical laboratory for 4 years. And I also hold an MBA for 3.5 years. And currently, I'm a manager at a hospital in Ontario, Canada. So overall, that's my background, and this is where I'm coming from. And the journey has been a very, very long journey. Moving here as an immigrant from Ghana, and God being good, being able to reach the pinnacle is amazing.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. And I will tell you this, Kobena, but you inspire me so much. Like, I watch your videos every day, and I was just looking forward for this opportunity to just sit down and have this conversation. So I know you mentioned you are a lab personnel, and this is the reason actually why today we have this conversation. We've been receiving a lot of interest, a lot of inquiries for internationally trained laboratory personnel. Just wondering, how do they navigate their way to Canada? Like, is it possible? Are there opportunities for them as an internationally trained lab? So I just want you to take us through the different pathways, the process for them, and the opportunities that are here for internationally trained lab personnel.
Yeah, that's a very, very wonderful question. And basically, the lab, the main body is CSMLS, Canadian Society of Medical Laboratory Science. So that's the website that you have to go to. So that's the main body. And basically, unlike the nursing program, I know that nursing, you have the NCLEX, and then NCLEX is situated in so many different areas across the globe. And basically, if you're a nurse back home, you can go and write the exams and, go through the process to actually be licensed, even while you're back home. When it comes to the lab, it's a little bit different. And what I mean by that is most of the people that actually comes here to pursue the lab career, most of the time, from what I know, they come from a different route. For example, they will come through maybe spousal marriage, or maybe they might come as a refugee claimant and they get their documents now, or even they can come as a student doing something else, and then all of a sudden they want to switch to the medical lab program. So the way it works is that once you're actually here in Canada, then you go to CSMLS website, and there's a criteria there where you can actually go there and upload your documents. So if you're internationally educated medical lab you want to pursue here, you go there, sign in, and then fill up a form, which is the application, and then upload all your documents from various places and put it in there. And then the CSMLS body will actually go in there and evaluate all these credentials against the competencies in Canada to see where you are. So once they do the evaluations, there's 3 steps. You have the pre-assessment, assessment, and then the post-assessment. So the pre-assessment is basically you loading up all your documents, and then the assessment is where they actually look at the competency of Canada and what you have done back home. And then based on that, they can recommend that okay, you are good to go. So there's also three areas where after they do the assessment, they can give you a green light and you can go and write the CSMLS exams. Or sometimes they can find a gaps in the assessment and they can recommend that, okay, there's 5 disciplines in the lab: chemistry, hematology, blood transfusion, histology, and microbiology. Maybe in microbiology, you need to take some extra courses to actually catch up to speed. So in those instances, you don't have to do the other 4 disciplines, but you can focus on just doing one discipline to close that gap. So that's why we call it the prior learning assessment. So that prior learning assessment, about 80% of international educated people that come here, they go through that program, the prior learning assessment. And about 20% will just challenge the exams right away because when they look at their criteria, they met the competency. But the good thing about the prior learning assessment that I would like to highlight is that there's always a co-op component or a clinical placement component to it. And what that does is that once you go through that process, you can actually be placed in a hospital or a community lab where you can actually gain the hands-on experience and also in the people interactions. So once you finish that and write your exams and you come into the industry, it's more easy to transition as opposed to those individuals that just go and challenge the exams right away. So I know I'm speaking quite a bit, but in a nutshell, you gotta be in Canada first. Go to the website, upload the document, they will look at it, and then they will give you a recommendation where the gaps are.
Wow, you have gone into details step by step. I'm not even a lab personnel, but I can feel the process, like very clear in black and white, like very detailed. Thank you for highlighting that. And one of the key things I've picked there also, like you must be in Canada before you start the process.
Yes, because all the exams, it takes place in Canada. The CSMLS exams, they don't have any stations across the globe. It has to be in Canada. So you have to be physically here to write that exams.
And what is the estimated time frame for all this process?
So the estimated time frame is once you start uploading your document on the website, they give you about 1 year to gather all your documents and put it in there. And then after that, they have 2 years window. So 2 years window, they will do the assessment and get back to you. So based on that assessment, they get back to you. You have a 2 years window to complete the entire process, write the exams to be licensed. So overall, it takes about 2 years. But once you get the assessment, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Then they'll finish with the assessment and bring it to you. So then once that is done, you can fast track and get it done within a year or even 6 months, depending what recommendation they gave you. But overall, you have 2 years to complete the entire process to be licensed.
Right. And I feel it's worth it because even for the nurses, even for teachers, I feel the time frame is more or less, they give that window of 2 years. So it's quite a good time frame for you to chase your documents and prepare for exams, go to school if you have to. So yeah, I think it's quite reasonable for that time frame.
Oh, yeah, definitely it is.
What is what are the opportunities that are here? Like, is it in demand? Are there like opportunities for lab personnels? Because I know like one of the professionals that is quite in demand here is like teaching, like nurses. I know doctors are always like, in crisis. How is it for lab personnel? Like somebody will ask, is it worth the effort, or will I be like tarmacking looking for jobs and I'm not finding jobs?
Yeah, that's a really a good question, Omazi. And as I said, as a lab manager, right now we are desperately looking for MLTs. Even in my hospital alone that I work, we have about 6 to 10 positions that we can't even fill. And this is how critical this is. So the opportunity is endless. So for example, even some of the rural areas now, there is an opportunity for individuals, if you're Canadian citizen or permanent residents, because of all the shortages. Now the government of Ontario is giving incentives for individuals to attend certain schools for free.
Wow.
And then, yes, they have those programs in Cambridge College. Maybe you can put the link below, Cambridge College in Sudbury. So once you're Canadian citizen or permanent residents, you can actually apply. And if you're eligible, you can actually go to school for free and he can also live in that area after the schooling. So when it comes to the shortages, it's very, very, very critical. We are so short. We're getting like the staff are complaining all the time. So this is one of those industries that I also would like highlight. One of my friends recently, his son was trying to find a program to go into university, and he doesn't know what to do. So he brought him to me, and we started doing some brainstorming. Interestingly, when I was going to school, nobody knew much about labs, and still 2024, people still doesn't know anything about labs. And what is interesting is that the lab was actually the third largest healthcare profession in Canada. Right now, we are somewhere in the fourth and third. So if you take nurses and doctors, the lab is right behind in terms of healthcare workers.
Yeah.
But one way or the other, sometimes because the advocacy for lab is not much, people don't know much about the lab. But if you're looking for one of those lucrative professionals where they pay quite a good money, you get a good pension, and you have a career, almost a lifetime career, I would definitely advocate for the lab. It's one of those hidden gems. Once you find it, you become part of that community. Very lucrative job, and I always encourage everyone to get into the lab because the money is also pretty good.
I like
that. My wife is a nurse, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes when she comes home and she's so super tired working on the bedside, but I'll go from the lab and I still looking fresh, and she's like, "Oh
Wow.
and sometimes the money difference is not even that much. So I always tell people that if you don't want to do nursing and you don't have any other alternative, the lab is something that you should definitely consider because the pay difference is not too much.
And this is very good that you've mentioned this because like a lot of people who come to Canada, immigrants especially, the one of the professional that they run to is nursing. And nursing is amazing. Nursing is rewarding. Nursing has a lot of opportunities, but there are also other hidden gems, like you've mentioned, that people have not explored. And like you can try and you explore and you'll be earning as much as, nurses or even more sometimes. So it's good that,
and even like one thing I also would like to the lab is that once you get to the lab, it's not only that you can just focus on the lab because there's different avenues. It opens a different doors for you. So for example, somebody might graduate from, a 4-year the degree program and come to the lab. Once they get in the lab, there's different branches within the lab they can actually branch into. One of them is sales because the lab we do use instrumentations and equipment.
Yeah.
So if you're very good in sales, you can actually branch into other companies like BD, Roche, Sixsmith, Siemens, and all these places and become their salespeople because you have the lab background. Also, equally, you can branch into IT because all the IT in the hospital, because you have the lab knowledge, you can branch into IT and work for the lab department in the IT area. That's something that people don't know. Another thing that I also recommend is that infection control or IPAC. So anytime they post this job, either they're looking for nurses or lab tech. And I can tell you that even people that are involved in infection control, they make more money than the lab people. So that's another field that you can actually branch into easily. And it just is unlimited how many places that you can even go working for the government agencies, become accreditation assessor. And there's just so many areas that once you're inside the lab, you can branch. And that's something I also wanted to bring to people's attention that once you have the 3-year diploma or the degree, you're not just going to be confined to the lab bench, but there's a lot of options out there to branch into as well.
Good. It's good you mentioned that. And I was going to ask about the minimum level of education because I know some of the professional, Canada has like a minimum. You must either have a degree or you cannot even start the assessment. And you mentioned either a diploma or a degree. So for lab personnel, and I know different countries have different, level of a starting level for education. Some of them maybe might have a 2 years diploma or a 1-year certificate and they're lab assistant. Different countries have different criteria. What is it for Canada? Like what is the minimum level of education that you can start as a lab personnel?
Yeah, that's also a good question. So Canada, the education system is slightly different. When you go to like places like Ghana or Kenya or even UK,
Mm-hmm.
The structure of the medical laboratory is usually you get a degree or you can get a diploma. And then, but in Canada, the way we also have the exact same system where there's a degree and there's also a diploma.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody that has a diploma is no different from somebody that has a degree. There's no separation. For example, in nurses, you have the 4-year degree RN,
Yeah.
and then you have the 3-year RPN diploma.
Yes.
In lab, there's no such thing. Whether you finish the 3-year diploma or you finish the 4-year degree, you all sit down and write the same exams called the CSMLS exams. And once you both pass the CSMLS exams and you enter the workforce, you all start from the same pay scale.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't really made that distinction yet. So as we stand right now, there is a handful of universities in the entire Canada that has the medical lab program because it's such a very, very specialized program. So one of them is Ontario Tech University, which is the university that I went.
Mm-hmm.
University of British Columbia also has one. Manitoba, University of Manitoba also has one. And also Dalhousie University in Nova Scotia has one. So if you really start counting, there's about 4 or 6 universities in the entire Canada that actually has the degree program. But when it comes to the diploma program, there's a lot of colleges out there that also accept people. So especially even if you yourself cannot become a medical lab tech, what I always tell people is that if you have any nephews or cousins or anyone, a young person that is looking for career, even if they cannot go to university, they can still get into college, do a 3-year program, and still make the same money as somebody that went to a degree program. So that's something that sometimes people don't know.
Yeah.
So it's not even about thinking about going to get a 4-year degree, but you can actually get a diploma and still start at the same level.
Wow, that's very encouraging. That's very encouraging. There a lot of young people, a lot of young immigrants, a lot of new immigrants who are looking for a career, and it's very good that you mentioned that because some people will be like, "Do I have the time and the energy to do 4 years of school?" Which is good. I encourage people to go to school, but sometimes we don't. Some people lack the resources, right? And
yeah, they do. And one thing that I also have noticed in our field is that I would say most of the people sometimes that you meet, either they have finished UFT, which is University of Toronto.
Yeah.
So because they don't know anything about the lab, they will go spend 4 years and do Bachelor's of Science at UFT. I get resume from people from Waterloo University, McMaster. All these people have gone and done their undergraduate in biological sciences, not knowing anything about the lab. Then after they finish the degree, they realize that, oh, shoot, I can't find a job. And through their research now, they come across the lab. And then they go back and do a 3-year diploma at Michener College or other institution. So instead of just going straight to do a 3-year or 4-year degree in medical lab, now it takes them 7 years to actually go. And we see quite a bit of that because the field is not properly advocated. So a lot of people don't know it. So by the time they find out, they have already done degrees. So a lot of the people coming into the field are already degree holders. So I always try to encourage people, young people, don't go through that path. Do your research. If it is a college that you want to go and do a medical lab science, or even if in university you want to go, do a proper research and do no detour. Just go straight for it. And then once you're done, you're going to have a career almost for life. So that's also a piece that I wanted to add to the conversation.
Awesome. Because I saw like for pharmacy, I believe you cannot come directly, you cannot do it directly from high school. So is it like for lab, that's possible after high school? I've graduated high school, I can come and do a diploma, 3 years diploma in lab. Okay, awesome.
100%. You can go straight from high school and go to university or go to a diploma program.
Okay, the elephant in the room, Kwabena. It's like, here's the elephant in the room. Is it worth it? What is the pay scale? How much? Like, just give us a range that, it's a huge motivation. I know one of the things like passion drives, it moves mountain, I would say, when it comes to career. Like the passion has to be there, but there's also another motivation, which is the pay scale, apart from demand in Canada. So how is the pay scale for lab personnel?
So the pay scale is pretty competitive, right? It's very, very competitive. And also, before even I talk about the pay scale, let me add another layer to it. So with the lab, also we have the lab technician stream. So
Yep.
the lab technician stream is something that you go to school for 1 year, depending where you go to the school. So there's accredited colleges where you can go to school for 1 year as a medical laboratory assistant or
Okay.
technician. So that's different from technologist. So the technologist is where you do 3 year college or 4 years university. But if you want to become a technician, it's usually a 1 year diploma program that you do. And you can also do it through private colleges. There's a lot of private colleges that has that for about 8 to 10 months that you can get your a 1 year diploma in a technician. So with the technician now, once you finish, and the pay scale for that, depending where you're working. So in Canada, we have the private sectors and also we have the public sector. So the private sectors, labs like DynaCare or Life Labs, and also you have hospital that employ both the technicians and the
And the
technologists.
technologists.
So in general, for the technician, depending where you find yourself, the pay ranges can range between about $20 to $25 as a starting pay, and go as far as $38. So all this is in CSMLS website. If you go there, they'll give you the ranges, which is between 18 to about $38. So starting to end for the technician. And then the technologist, it depending which province that you live in, because each province pays slightly different. For example, if you go to Alberta, because Alberta is economic hub of Canada, they might pay you about $2-3 more if you live in Alberta as opposed to Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, because of the living standard, might not be the same as Alberta based on cost of living. It might be slightly lower. So if you look at the CSMLS website, they have listed it between $25 to $45 an hour. But majority of the places you look on the website, the pay scale is about $32 to $34 to start. And then it can go as far as in $45 to $48, depending which province you are. So in a nutshell, you're still looking for technologies between 32 to about 48, depending on your experience level. So
wow, that's a very competitive rate. I can tell for sure. I see how you're saying like the difference from iron is not very huge. It makes a lot of sense to me now. For sure.
Yes, it's not too much of a difference. Yes, and if you want to work overtime too, you can work so many overtimes.
Like I say, with the demand that is there and the shortages, I believe there's such opportunities. So thank you so much, Kobena. But before I let you go, I would like you to like just say this to encourage somebody out there to just leave a word of inspiration. You are a successful YouTuber. You're successful in your career. You have an amazing family. Like, how do you manage to balance this? And just give us a word of encouragement for anyone watching this video today.
Yeah, you know what? See, life, the way I see life is, because in the lab we have this term is what goes in is what comes out, right? So I think one thing that as a young person, if you're watching me over there, when I was living in Ghana, I did not have any privilege to live even in a capital city. I lived in village. So I did my elementary school in the village, my senior high school in the village. Everything was mostly in the village. But also one thing that I learned from that is that it taught me the discipline. So in Canada, to be able to make it, you need that discipline and consistency. Why do I say discipline and consistency? Meaning that you have to be very, very disciplined in what you want. And then also it has to be consistent for duration of time. So for example, when I finished, I came here, I started high school, grade 10. When I finished and I went to Humboldt College, this is a story that sometimes I don't want to tell people because when I came, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was talking to a gym teacher and it's like, oh, you can go and do a lab. But at the time I was so young, I did not know the difference between medical lab and chemical lab. So here I am, I go to Humboldt College, and after 2 years into the program, I realized I was doing the wrong program, which is a chemical lab. It still did not discourage me. I still finished that 3 years chemical diploma program. And then when I was about to go to university, I got there, I was going to do medical lab, and they said they're not going to give me chemistry 101. And I said, well, I've spent 3 years doing pure chemistry. How could you not give me chemistry 101 at the university? But I knew that that was a deterrent. So I have to remain disciplined and the consistency I'm talking about. So I still have to go through that 4 years. And then when that was done, I was having my houses and my wife and all these, and then I was doing my master's. Sometimes I'm holding my son and I'm reading my book at the same
Wow.
time. So this is what I mean by the discipline and also being consistent for so long. And
Yeah.
even once you finish all the schooling, even the career projection now, you cannot
Mm-hmm.
hand you anything. So
Yeah.
you also have to put yourself out there, also improve yourself, continue education by taking other courses on the side, reading a lot of business books all the
Mhm.
time, and also finding mentorship, people that you can really look up to, and people that you can be at your corner. And I did a video recently called it, make sure the proximity, because
Yeah.
if you're proximate to somebody who's very successful, the likelihood that you also become successful. So always make sure you stay disciplined in what you want, and then also be consistent throughout, because you could do it a year or two, but if you're not consistent, you're gonna fall off the radar. So
Mhm.
constantly you gotta educate yourself. You also have to learn and find mentorship along the way. So if
Mhm.
you're someone looking at me, I'm not anybody that came from a rich background. I came from the the bottom of the scale, but by God's grace and
Yeah.
also the hard work, God was able to elevate us. So the sky is the limit for any kid out there, wherever you are. Dream big, but within that dreaming, also be disciplined and also be consistent throughout. And the sky is the limit for you. So that will be my message for the individuals out there.
Wow, thank you so much. Like there's a lot of wisdom is coming out today. And I'm learning a lot. And as I mentioned earlier, you inspire me. You inspire us a lot. We look up to you, we look at your videos, we are learning every day. And the consistency and the hard work that you put to it, you're like, why are we not doing it? He's doing it. And we have these conversations, Kobena, with my sister every day. Trust
Yeah,
me. Like, oh, he's doing it. We have to wake up. So that's a very good point to mention that.
I appreciate it, Omazi. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Canada is a land of unlimited opportunity. If you find yourself here, make sure you take advantage and
Mhm.
go full speed. No excuses. The
Mhm.
balls are gonna be thrown at you. Hard times will come, but you still have to have the resistance to move forward. Because
Yeah.
nothing will be given to you, but unless you keep pushing. And
Mhm.
last word I would say is that sometimes the door is closed, but it's not locked. So the door is closed, but it's not locked. So you have to go there and be able to open it. Then it will open for you. If you stand outside and you say, "Oh, it's closed," no, you gotta make an attempt, walk to it, and say, "Okay, let me." Then open it. Then you can get through. So
I love that.
this is all Canada is all about. Push
Yeah.
hard, and it will be well.
I love that. Push hard, connect, make sure you get the right networking, look for mentors, take
Mhm.
yourself, like put yourself out there and look for opportunities. So I
Yes,
love that.
yes.
Thank you so much for having us today. We are honored to host you. Uh, we're
Thank you,
looking
Mazi.
forward.
Likewise, likewise. Thank you for all the video. It went viral, and I hope
Oh,
this will also go viral as well. Thank
amen to that. So thank you so much. And
you so much.
guys, thank you for staying with us. Thank you for watching this video. Do not forget to share, to like, subscribe, and share, spread the word. So until next time, bye.
Thank you. Bye.